We've been helping the film studios, starting in Denmark primarily, but then moving across the UK and Germany, marketing their films on Facebook. We've worked on 40 film titles right now, and we've discovered some interesting things that I'm going to look forward to telling you more about. So, one of the reasons why we picked Facebook as being our sort of prime focus is that when we started looking at the industry, we found that in 2008, no money was being spent on Facebook advertising. We contrast that with now, in 2012, your average wide-release film is receiving something in the region of 150,000 euros worth of advertising spend, just in Facebook advertising alone. And one of the main reasons for this is that TV and film are two of the biggest natural drivers of traffic. They're generally the most liked fan pages on Facebook. So it's very interesting seeing that social networking, social media works well for movies. Because as we all know, moviegoing and watching films is influenced by a wide range of social factors. For instance, we are the way that we go to the movies is very much stage of life dependent. When we were teenagers, we went in groups of three plus. Now that we're all parents, we either go to escape our children or the choice of movies actually dictated to us by our kids. Furthermore, the movies that we pick are actually heavily influenced by our friends. We're much more likely to take a recommendation off a friend than we are off a critic. And knowing that a friend of ours wants to go and see a movie is as influential as the storyline for the movie itself. So all of these factors, sort of word-of-mouth factors, are very, very interesting, because the other bit of research that we saw was that UK Film Council did a quick study, and it said that the average person, by the time they hear of a movie, there's a good chance that it's already left that theatrical window. And we believe that there's a big gap that can be filled by today's technology to help solve this problem. So we've seen this thing called the Open Graph. We started to play around with it, and there's a huge variety of opportunities that are open to distributors and exhibitors through this technology in the way that you can understand your audience can understand each other, and they can also broadcast your messages about your movies to each other through Facebook. And so what we started developing was this concept called Wave, and it's a tool set that helps you build very rich analytics data on your audiences that are using your channels. So for instance, rich demographics, their interests, their connections to friends, and then helps you distribute these messages through Facebook, which is, let's face it, where most people are when they're online these days. And basically it starts by taking advantage of the fact that you are all using online channels now to put out information about your films. So, everyone's using websites, but a lot of you, I'd imagine, would be using Facebook, building mobile applications, or maybe even connected TV devices. And what we've created is a social login process using Facebook Connect that allows you to capture users as they come into each of these channels. So it works alongside what you're already doing. And when I'm talking about social data capture, I'm talking about turning an unknown user into this chap, Peter, getting a complete comprehensive overview of who Peter's friends are, what his likes and interests are, and with a little bit of our own Gruvi magic, we can actually start to figure out, well, if Peter has been interacting with other applications out there to do with movies, and saying that he wants to see certain films, we can also pull that information in as well. And we store this all in a specialized social media database. The data is obviously yours, we're just the administrators for it. And we analyze it, figure out what Peter's interested in, who he influences, and who influences him. So it basically allows you to take the complete unknown audience that's out there, and bearing in mind when we're talking to a lot of the film studios, the most they're collecting is the email address and where that user came from, and turn this into a really rich set of analytics around each user in terms of what their actual film interests are, where they're located, what they're interested in watching next. And there's two really important things that come out of this. First of all, it allows you to start tailoring your content towards your individual users as they come onto your channels. So here's an example. There's a mobile film application for a large cinema chain somewhere in Germany, and the first 6 titles that Peter is presented with are the films this application via Wave has figured out that he's going to be interested in. And we can put it into a variety of contexts. So at the far end, these are the things that Peter's indicated he wanted to watch on another application. And here, these are the 2 films that his close friends want to see. This is very interesting because we've seen from our own data, and this has also been confirmed with Facebook, if you can get an image of a friend next to a video, it dramatically increases the likelihood of that video being watched, up to a factor of 10 times if you can get 4 friends' images next to a piece of content. So the other point is that it allows you to really hyper-target your communication. And the first step is through email, obviously. So personalized email recommendations going out to targeted users within your database of people that have signed up. But also all the communication that can now happen through Facebook as people are interacting with your films. And to give you a quick example of that, here's an application that we built last year. And it's saved in my timeline a report of the movies that I want to check out over the summer period. And this is now sitting here on my timeline for my friends to view as well. Each one of those movies that I've said that I wanted to see is crops up in my friends' news feeds as with the video indicating that I want to see this film. And it also appears in this other distribution channel within Facebook called The Ticker, but unfortunately I don't really have an example of that to show. Anyway, this mechanic for distributing video and awareness and interaction through Facebook is very interesting because we're also beginning to now play around with show times and getting that presented there as well. So, to recap, we have a social data capture process that allows you to pull in rich social data for each of the users that signs up to one of your channels. This includes, their interests and their connections to friends. We can also record all the behaviors that they're doing on that website, whether they indicate that they want to see something or they play a game or promotion that you may have. And we store that again in that database. And with our algorithms, we can then start to give you ideas about how you personalize that content to that user and the targeted communication that can come off the back of that through email and Facebook. And to recap, basically we unite, record, and process all this information into one area, which allows you to analyze this key data based on user behavior and to target the right content to the right user at the right time. We feel that this is really the holy grail going forward in terms of film marketing, and we're very, very excited about it. I think it gives all kinds of different parts of the industry different ways of reaching users. From the exhibition side, this could be down to how you book films going forward for your cinemas, how you develop your promotions, marketing and sales programs, how you develop your relationships with distributors, because you know your audience, where they're located and how they're consuming your content, and more importantly, what they're interested in looking at in the future. Unfortunately, we're leaving tonight because we've got another conference to go to in London. Nelly, who is sitting right here, and I will be available until about 7:30. So we look forward to meeting you.
Great.